I know I'm focusing on the negative, but I did find the Alex Merrett post a little bit unusual.
Look, it's not something I would like probably out of my partner if I was in that situation, and we all know the history with Zach, but it's a different time. The social media and the way people express themselves now online is a lot different to when I was playing. So it is a different one. It's probably not something that you want more attention brought to yourself, but it's, each one to themselves. And this is how young people do things now on social media. Sam, you'd be across
we're looking at Doc.
The fact of the matter, it's just really not helping Alex and then Zach. It's not helping Zach's relationship to mend with the fans and the club and the playing group. These are the distractions. I know that this is the way that life is these days, but at the same time, when you drill it down, is that putting that up really worth the scrutiny that your husband's going to get? I don't think it's.
See, I'm not saying that your wife would have done this, Doc, but
it was
in the middle
down, wasn't it? It didn't stay up for very long.
It's a TikTok, so I think it's still up on TikTok at the moment, or we were able to see it this morning. But in the middle of the tough patches that you had last year, Doc, when you were playing for the Blues, if that's something that your wife had popped up and said, "Oh, this is a crap game for Carlton, I'm off to Gimlet."
Yeah,
reaction.
I wouldn't have been overly happy with it, and it's from the same perspective of it's just there's so much media scrutiny already in AFL football. You just don't need that being added for something that doesn't really need to be put up online. Like, what's anyone actually gaining from putting that up online? I don't really know.
Might have got a free
meal.
Feed. If you're asking, I don't think Zach Merrett needs free feed.
You need to
take a good restaurant. I mean, she's got good taste in restaurants.
You need a lot of sheets going in there, a bit of folding.
It's all very well to say there's media scrutiny, but there's media scrutiny when someone does something ill-advised, and frankly, ill-advised.
And I know you said, Caro, you don't want to focus on the negative, but when someone does that, because we know the partners are a very big network at any football club, they sort of band together, is that something that would be noticed internally?
I'd say so.
They'd all follow each other.
Yeah, they'd all see it, and I guarantee you, I'm not speaking like I know what's going on at Essendon at all, but there'd be a certain portion of girls that are probably feeling that with him, have been frustrated with the start of the year and where the club's at and last year, or friends of Zach's, but there'd also be a certain portion being like, oh, really, did you really need to add to the fire? So if anything, it can create little fractions off the footy field, which inevitably just doesn't, and I've used this term, it just doesn't help. It doesn't help when you're in a footy club, and Richo's just saying, when everything's going wrong, you just need everyone to galvanise in together, and you need everyone to get on the same message, the same path, and then everyone's just all together on that. These are the little things that start to flick away from that and make unnecessary distractions for what the players are there for. The players are there to produce a product on game day, and they need everything to be able to do that.
The captain, Andy McGrath. Andy, thanks so much for your time on 3AW.
Hey guys, good to be on.
So, look, let us know your assessment of last night's performance. I mean, I think at halftime it looked like some of the players were a little bit defeated, but certainly you then managed to pick up in that third quarter and win the quarter.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were obviously respectable. They're a quality opposition. We knew they were going to throw challenges, and we weren't able to counteract that in the first quarter especially. And we felt like the game started to turn a little bit in the second, albeit the scoreboard not ticking over. But really proud of the guys' response in the second half, and I think we proved that our game style can match it, and we proved pretty problematic for the Doggies in the second half and really challenged them.
Andy, just Matthew Richardson, well done on last night. It was a good fight back in that second half. Just watching at home, I was watching on TV. To me, it just looked simply about just the pressure and effort was really up, and you were connected, encouraging each other, and it felt like it was as simple as that after half-time.
Yeah, Richard, I think as you know really well, football's a simple game, but a complicated one in itself. But I think pressure and your spirit around your team is the two really critical features to any great team. And we were really disappointed in the first, especially 2 rounds around our pressure. We felt like we took a jump forward last week against North and then took another step forward in the second half last night. But we want those 2 things to be a hallmark of our game. I feel like our connection as a group's growing. Our spirit around what we're trying to do is growing as well. And we're starting to see a little bit of evidence around what it can look like, albeit not consistent enough.
And a couple of just individuals I want to point out. Tom Edwards, he just looked like a natural forward to me. Just gets his positioning right, just has a good goal sense. He's someone that you're going to have to go forward with now in that forward 50, you think?
Yeah, Tommy Edwards is a star. We were really excited to get him last year, and unfortunately went down with a knee pretty early into the piece. But he's a natural footballer. He pops up in spots that are effective and dangerous, and he makes defenders worry. And he's really efficient. I think it's a good combination for a modern day forward, and he brings a calmness and an energy to our group that's pretty unique, and is able to set guys up, keep us organised, and we were really lucky to have him back last night, and looking forward to seeing him build and grow into the year.
Andy, Sam Docherty here, mate. I'm just curious on, it's been obviously a tough start to the year. What's successful look like for you guys internally moving forward for the back end of the year?
Yeah, it's a good question, Sam. I think obviously the first month of the year hasn't exactly gone to plan for us. We've been disappointed with our output, especially the first two rounds and quarters in the last couple. But we just want to continue to grow our brand of footy. We want to play consistently. I think we have the capability to challenge every team in the competition on our day. But unfortunately, we haven't been able to show that for long enough or for a full game yet. So I think that's the target now. We're really sort of bullish on how quickly we can improve and want to be a great team fast, but we know we've got a big gap to go to close that between us and the best teams in the comp. But I think last night should give our boys great confidence that when we do execute our game plan, when we bring the pressure, when we show the spirit that we're able to in that second half, there's no reason why we can't be in every game this year.
Andy, your former captain, Zach Merrett, had a terrific second half. I think Brad Scott confirmed after the game he had a word to him and Merrett responded. Can you explain, was it your call to bring Zach back into the leadership group a few weeks ago, or was it a leadership group decision? Did you lead that?
Oh, when things obviously aren't going well, Caro, you feel like you want your senior players involved in every sort of conversation that we're having. We were really disappointed after the Port Adelaide game, around a few key things in our game. Obviously, our pressure was the main one. We weren't able to slow them down at all. Zach's obviously been at our footy club for a long period of time and understands the game better than most. So as a collective, we wanted him in on that conversation. As we've said time and time again, Zach's fully bought into what we're doing, and we just wanted him to feel a part of that and help us get better. And I think he, albeit not in the leadership group anymore, he still leads by example. He still connects with guys and really pushes our club forward.
I understand this is an uncomfortable one, but I did find it unusual that Zach Merrett's wife posted something on Instagram from Gimlet last night saying when your husband team is losing by 50 points, you go to Gimlet. Are you aware of that? Is the club aware of that? And do you have a view on it?
No, I wasn't aware of that, to be honest, Caro. To be honest, I don't really have too much of a view on it. I think what people do in their private lives are up to them. We know fully well that Zach's fully bought into what we're doing. He's as passionate as I've ever seen him, and I think his second half last night really shows sort of where he's at mentally and where he wants to take this footy club. His pressure, the ability for him to connect with guys and really encourage guys to be the best version of them is kind of all we go off. But no, I'm not really across too much of the off-field social media stuff.
Andy, Laurie here. Look, we have discussions a lot about the coaches, and obviously, Brad Scott's been under a lot of scrutiny for the start to the year, and he's pretty much had to face the media circus by himself, which, can be tough for any coach. What's your view of him being, I suppose, at this point, the sole voice that's had to cop that, and do you think he should have received some more backing from other leaders at the club to sort of come out and reinforce that they believe in Brad Scott and the direction he's taking you in?
I think Brad's leadership throughout the last month has been superb. He's obviously been the face for, I guess, our 4 losses to date, and the way that he's held us all really accountable, the way that he's kept the boys really engaged and encouraging us to keep going after what we're going after. We know we're in a tough spot at the moment. We're not going to hide away or shy away from that, but the way he's led from the front, the way he's been able to keep his messaging really clear and succinct, and we feel like we're growing and improving each week, and that's off the back of Brad's leadership, and we're all right behind him. We love the coach that he is, and we absolutely support him 100%, and we're looking forward to having a good week on the track again behind Brad and taking it into gather round.
We're talking to Essendon captain Andy McGrath. I don't want to pick on one individual, but I have to ask you about Ben Mackay's game. Are you working closely with Ben to help him through his clearly some issues at the moment? with his form?
Yeah, Ben's obviously a backman, and I play down there as well, so we spend a lot of time together. I think, obviously Ben's been scrutinised and in the media a lot since he moved to Essendon. It happens when you're a high-profile recruit. He had a shifted role pretty early on in the game. Sam Darcy got away from us, and Ben went straight to him, and we changed the matchup. So I haven't really reviewed the game too in depth at the moment, but I felt like he had some great moments. I think he's building into the year. It's been a hard place to defend without sort of a heap of pressure on the ball at this stage. So it feels like it's getting easier and easier, and the last line defenders can sometimes cop the brunt of that lack of pressure up the field. So us as higher players in the formation need to do a better job at supporting Ben and Reedy and allowing them to do their thing, because we have full trust when they're one-on-one with a high ball, they can win or halve those more often than not.
Andy, Essendon's a big footy club and a lot of support around the club, but it's been a tough time. And I just look back to when I was at Richmond, we had some tough times on the field as well, and you're under huge pressure from everyone. But I think it's really important your whole club is in line through these times. Do you feel like your whole club's in line as far as your coterie groups and board of directors? Do you feel like everyone's, in line with each other? Because it's really important you have that support in tough times.
Yeah, I definitely feel it. I think we all understand the journey that we're on. We're an improving football side. We have a lot of young, talented players, and our group quite simply hasn't played a lot of footy together. We want to keep growing. We understand how hard the competition is at the best of times, and when you start with a couple games like we did, things can feel a bit out of control. But full credit to the footy club, full credit to the leadership of the footy club around keeping the train on the tracks. It's, as you said, Richo, big clubs draw a lot of media attention. We're not immune to that. We know the environment that we operate in, but to be able to keep it business as usual, work on what we need to work on, and improve as quickly as possible is our main focus, and the stability around the club's really helped with that.